if planned, we will cast Nanthelas versus Lazybear to see who that will be. Oops, this graphic is wrong. Nanthelas was first in Group B, not first in Group C. And Nanthelas came second in Group A after narrowly tying, I suppose, with you, Yish, a very tight set in week 3, and due to point differential, you came out of the group first in Group A.
Yeah, Lazy Bear and Nanthelas are both no joke. Lazy Bear, like I bugged 3 times that set, and he caught all three of those times, and I don't think those bugs were like particularly bad. So definitely good awareness there. I unfortunately didn't really try anything else versus him. I just bugged 3 times. They were all decent bugs, but none of them perfect. I did get away with a swap versus him, but he definitely played very strong. I thought those bugs were all relatively good, and he was able to be on top of them. I really don't know how else he plays. Nanthelas definitely plays a very methodical, safe style. He has a good awareness of like what guesses are done and what who is suspicious, what to look at. Sometimes you just feel like you're being watched and you can't do anything about it. Versus Nanthelas.
Yeah, and one thing that we kind of talked about a little bit in the predictions cast is that Lazy Bear is on a tear of almost an undefeated streak of a tear. Joined SCL, I believe towards the beginning of it, and had back and forth results. Did lose their week 10 matchup to Magic Tour, but since then has been competing in both the Summer Cup and the SCL Challenger elimination bracket, where they started things off against Walliard, won 9-7, then 9-0'd Moon, which is just incredible. Took a 9-5 game against, I'm going to say, Kieran, and then managed to beat Pofke, who's such a formidable opponent. Took out Catnip in yesterday's match, beat him 9-3, and then to potentially spoil the semi-final result for anyone who hasn't found out yet, has just beat Shep 9-5 as well.
Oh my god!
So that's a huge tear through the SCL Challenger bracket. Obviously, in groups went undefeated as well. A tie doesn't really count as a defeat, and I suppose against yourself, Yish, a very respected opponent, that's a huge result for Lazy Bear. And so you've got this up and coming challenger player who seems unstoppable right now. But if you want to talk about Nanthelas, Nanthelas is on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 winning streak. Hasn't lost a game at all, or tied a game. That's just straight up 9 games won in a row, and that's in the bronze division of SCL. As well as in the Summer Cup, where he played Artoriax, who's also from bronze. So these guys are both hot right now. Or tie. It's not a tie because you come into it as a winner, and so you have yes, you can 8-8, but that's a win. As far as the rule set is concerned, so nine consecutive wins in a row. And then before that, this year, it was a loss, draw, win. So has the last 12 games has lost 1, tied 1, and the rest have been wins. So kind of ridiculous. Both these players are hot. This is probably the most hyped match of the quarterfinal, the round of 16. I'm so excited to get into it on Veranda. I don't want to wait any longer, so let's do it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, such incredibly skilled players on such massive winning streaks colliding here in the round of 16.
Somebody has to lose.
Insane. Someone has to lose, and someone will be eliminated.
Somebody has to lose. Let's see how it starts. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Oh, I have it on half speed because I wanted to savor the moment and watch every moment of this game in glorious slow-mo. All right, sorry. Let's count down again.
It's more dramatic this way.
Half speed, 4 speed. Next time it's going to be 2 speed.
Only if it's balcony. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Nanthelas really likes to mix it up. His main two openers, from what I've seen, have just been play slow, don't go to statues, or he just goes to statues right away. He likes to prove that he'll go to statues right away and get an early highlight and still win the game.
Terrifying traffic jam at the beginning there. Lots of people just take control immediately, but Nanthelas with enough wherewithal to leave it as AI control until he's out of the water. Steps into statues early on, though, to get a pair of inspects and that early highlight.
Yeah, he does this probably about 50% of the time, I would say, in most of his games. Like, he'll definitely show that he can go to statues early and still win the game. You can't really take any hard lowlights for early inspects versus him.
Stepping into conversation with the double agent and his seduction target. Very valuable conversation to be in. Picks up the first flirt for 34% and is staring down the party, waiting for a good moment to take the contact.
Here's a great opportunity. Seduce and fingerprint both in one spot. Yes, please.
Yeah, absolutely going to pick that up.
Though. This makes it seem like we want to do microfilm because we did pick a very weird spot crammed up next to our ST.
Does grab the flirt, brings us up to 68% on the second white test, and steps away with the book, and it hits the difficult fingerprint as well, so that's a huge start for Nanthelas.
Yeah, we could even return the book now and still be in a good position now that we've hit that difficult, but I feel like Nanthelas with that positioning might just want to hang on to this book and return it at a later time.
And Nanthelas seems to agree. Luckily now, after an update a little while ago, you can now flirt between pads at the windows, so is able to get the seduction done. And
now, Ambassador just leaves. We could have had a bug on the way to the blue bookshelf, but doesn't want to be too greedy just yet.
Nanthelas is playing things really fast. Lots of progress coming through. Now stepping in to the blue bookcase to put the book away with Lazybear all the way zoomed in on the other side of the map. Nanthelas now stepping into the statues. Lazybear still has no idea. Now finally swinging around to have a look at it, but the swap has come off. We still need a fingerprint. This is so dangerous.
The swap is blocked, though. Oh, there's a view.
It's on camera. It's right there.
Any reaction, though? Nothing yet. And we only need one print. Yeah, Nanthelas there takes advantage of the laser positioning. Both Amba and Toby were on the far left. And he saw that that Lazybear's laser was all the way on the left, exploiting it. Just quickly goes for the microphone and swap when he's not looking.
Nanthelas in chat saying he got caught on action priorities for the swap. It was a big risk and completely unintentional, but it looks like it's working out. Nanthelas stepping into conversation with the ambassador here only has 25 seconds left on the clock.
Still no major reaction from Lazybear with swap. No hard lowlights coming out at all, so I don't know if you've even seen this.
Yeah, that's a big miss. Here's the contact coming off. It just comes out in time. We're not going to have an overtime situation. If we are, it's going to be under a second. We're safety off. Does he take the shot? No, he doesn't. He thought he had a moment longer than he did. Was waiting for an overtime that never came. And Nanthelas takes game number 1.
Yeah, maybe you just see that timer and think it's so low, I can wait for OT, but he literally finishes at exactly 10 seconds, so you have to take the shot if you feel comfortable enough.
Wow, that's incredible. Literally on the 10-second mark, the contact mission gets done. As you all know, in SpyParty, after you finish your last mission as Spy, a 10-second mission win countdown happens. And if you're Lazybear, as it's happening, you're looking over to the purloin, and you probably feel like there is just that half a second of beeping that's going to occur from the contact that you can wait to shoot if the overtime does happen. And it's really difficult to know that that's not going to happen. It seems like he had Nanthelas as his top suspect, but just isn't able to convert it into a sniper win. That's huge for Nanthelas.
We have had so many incredible game ones today. And we're not done yet. We still have Lazybear on the spy side, just starting the third match versus Nanthelas here. This is going to be a fun one. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
So far, we've seen 2 sweeps on Veranda. Will we see a third? Seems likely.
I don't know about likely, but certainly possible. Lazybear starting things off at an early statue visit with the seduction target. Does take the highlight for it. But you don't mind only getting the single inspect on a situation like this because you do still have 2 inspects available on the second visit. And gets a green flirt for 51%.
Always the romantic, looking for that sweet, sweet 2 flirt. One of the most satisfying things in this game. And looks like we just bail there. We don't want to be suspected for a bug. We're not getting credited for something we didn't do. We're already highlight. Let's not get any more suspicion there.
Indeed. I think the most satisfying things on this game, in no particular order, are really nice walking bugs, hitting 2 flirts, and hitting difficult fingerprints.
I absolutely agree with all 3 of those. Looks like we do want to flirt, but there is no space when we walked by, so now we've delayed.
Yeah, and because of that, it winds up being a relatively slow start, down to 2.5 minutes, and hitting the fingerprint on the briefcase there to make up a little bit of time.
We did have cover from that conversation there, so we just set it down and don't bother returning. If Nanthelas missed that could be a huge start for us.
Yeah.
That might just be fingerprint free.
Oh, and gets neutral lit. That means he definitely missed it. And this is a great situation for Lazybear all of a sudden. If he can get a little bit of get back in there on the clock. And that difficult fingerprint would have been the way to do it, but unfortunately not able to hit it. As he steps in. No, still not able to get in the conversation for the flirt.
Ooh, and this bug path too. I don't like this at all. It just looks so suspicious, but no highlight coming off, so thankfully we don't phantom a bug.
Oh, not quite close enough for the
Now
2 flirt. It's only 98%.
Now, the most unsatisfying thing in the game. Hitting 2 green flirts, but not completing in 2.
Yes, and the people who have heard me cast before know very well what I think of that. Does get the contact, though, and steps away to put the blue book back where it came from, but we are very low on time. A minute to play now.
We were neutral lit for being at this bookshelf, so I doubt Nanthelas puts any more suspicion on us. We are in a decent position. We have a lot of half mission progress, but no fulls. So we need to get hopefully some combinations of missions here in order to
Only
finish.
completion we have right now is that contact. Now stepping into the statues for the last set of inspects, but with only 35 seconds left to play, we're really low on time. Just gonna straight up swap the front statue. And Nanthelas is not gonna let that slip by. And we have another sweep on Veranda.
Nanthelas missed a swap on a live cast, I believe, against Steph, on Pub. And then after that, people have tried swapping versus him multiple times, and I don't think he's let a single one by. I think he's been pretty adamant about never letting a swap by again.
Either way, Nanthelas comes out to a strong start, but the great equalizer has arrived. Ladies and gentlemen, we are playing Pub any 3 of 5, and a little bit of a different mission layout this time. Nanthelas opts to leave the purloin on and take off the bug instead.
Yeah, this is one of the more common mission setups, my preferred setup. In my opinion, bug is probably one of the hardest missions on this map, unless you can get an amazing reverse bug in the bar or like a bug like Belial got. Those bugs just usually don't happen too often, and sometimes the purloin being more available, I guess it leaves you more open to framing. If you think somebody is done, you can delegate somebody that's been to statues. If somebody from statues has a drink, you can pretend to be delegated. So there's a lot of framing opportunities with purloin.
We've seen a couple of very beautiful bugs on this map tonight, but no more, says Nanthelas. He's going to try something else. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
I've played a little bit with Nanthelas on this map, and we've had a very interesting meta. It's usually either he frames or he finishes missions, and it can be very difficult to call one of the two missions, which one it's going to be.
There was a setup for a time of chaos bug there.
That's the point where you really wish you had bug.
Well, picks up a highlight for an incorrect briefcase there. Rounds up going window to window to pick up the flirt. It is a green test on this flirt to 51%, but still not a great start for Nanthelas.
Yeah, now he goes to statues to gauge his suspicion. He now sees he's not being highlighted, so he can probably guess that at least Lazybear knows about the fingerprint. So Nanthelas will probably play with that in mind.
Indeed. So inspect done, half a flirt and half a fingerprint. Lots of progress, but also lots of suspicion.
I also appreciate that Nanthelas did not go for that drink print at the bar. Since he just got highlighted for the briefcase, not going for it is reasonable here. And now approaching it later, going for the difficult might be a free mission here.
Nanthelas now stepping into the bar to grab a delegate and the last fingerprint he needs. Very unlikely this delegate is going to get used, and honestly, if you're that suspicious as Lazybear, I think you've got to take the shot about now, because you know he's done the inspect, you know he's got the fingerprints done and dusted. This is a scary situation.
Will the ST cooperate, though? We've had 2 instances of the ST being very bad and causing us to lose. But hopefully Nanthelas can get this green flirt and seal it up, but now coming close. At least the ST takes a drink, not going to be going to statues anytime soon.
Minute and 5 left on the clock. We just need to finish up this flirt, but it might still be 2 talks. And the seduction target is just not cooperating once again. The shot comes off, though, on Smallman instead. And Nanthelas keeps the wins coming.
Huge lead 3-0, and now momentum might be swinging, but definitely if you want to win a game of Spy, this is the one to do it on. I would think out of this map pool, 3-5 Pub is certainly the most Spy biased.
Oh boy.
I'm trying to work out what led to the timing on that shot. It looks like Smallman potentially could have had a bug based on his path past the Ambassador at the early game. It kind of bounces off him in a way that I think Lazybear probably knew a bug didn't occur. And
because
then
bug was off?
Yeah, I guess it's the finger pronto.
And the late prints, yeah, the late prints
yeah.
at the end of the game.
Bar print into briefcase print. At that point, you kind of have to chase it down. Now, that's the third wrong shot, I suppose, tonight. I want to say the third wrong shot tonight without a BB, which is quite interesting. Smallman, obviously, you would have to assume a bug's happened there. But it's a relatively good shot. I think this game was lost when Lazybear didn't apply more suspicion for the incorrect briefcase return. Knows that the Ambassador is on the far right, can see Nanthelas pick up the briefcase because he highlights for it, can see the Ambassador on the far right still, knows how he hasn't moved, and so at that point, the only way you don't necessarily apply more suspicion for it is if you think that the ambassador was at the statue. And then if the ambassador was at the statue, then Nanthelas has 2 prints really early on. So I don't know. A couple of things to take back from that.
Smallman doesn't have an inspect.
Right.
So I don't even think he could be done. It's just
no, he has fingerprints and seduce progress at that point, unless you think he's too flirt. So, yeah, it's a rough shot, but that's pub any 3 or 5. I mean, Lazybear throughout the entirety of the round of 16 in the chat has basically been posting, and that's pub any 3 or 5 after every game. So I mean, that's what it does to you, and maybe he can be benefit of it as he jumps onto the spiral.
Nanthelas on a huge winning streak before this match and doesn't appear to be slowing down. Let's see if Lazybear can curb some of this momentum. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And that strategy by Nanthelas, doing missions but waiting as long as possible in order to get an AI shot, I think is probably one of the stronger ways to play the map. If you wait long enough, probably an AI will finish, and maybe the sniper will shoot poorly. So waiting till the last possible second to finish missions can be very beneficial, especially if you're not the top suspect. Lazybear just going back and forth here, though. Not sure what he's waiting for.
Early time ad white tests it as well. This is a very unusual start for Lazybear, who is playing with the bug instead of the purloin. So back to the mission setup we were seeing earlier in the night.
Not the best character to do it with, though. Irish and Alice, amazing. Orange dress, good standing bug, but unfortunately not the best walking bug.
But a very slow speed, which gives the option for some walking bugs that are not very easily guardable if you can get the right opportunities for them. First flirt comes off for 34% with 3 minutes left to play, and Lazybear is taking things slow but steady.
Yeah, it looks like we have a lot of opportunities here. Ambassador is at the bar, so Prince will be available. And we have quite a few highlights now from Nanthelas' perspective. And this is a great time for Banana Bread too, but the SDA is out. So Lazybear might be baited into a situation where a bad BB comes off because there's only one outside of conversation right now.
Yeah, could very well be. Second flirt brings us to 68 off of yet another white test. So as long as we're careful and get nice and close, we are guaranteed the 3 flirt. Picking up a fingerprintable briefcase as well and moving to return it to the bar here. Still 2 minutes to play, lots of progress. This is looking pretty good for Lazybear.
Interestingly, Nanthelas does make the read that he highlights an SDA, making the read that usually when this happens, the sniper is saying, hey, I think this is the real SDA.
Who, as we're setting up for a second fingerprint from the bar, just takes a shot on Bling Twin. That's very early.
And to piggyback off your point there, Geesh, about the, hey, I think this is the real DA, oftentimes when I make this read, it's because I have a very strong suspicion about who the spy may be. And so I'm basing my prediction of SDA based on the fact that a contact hasn't happened when certain people have been in a conversation with another SDA. So potentially that relates to the wrong shot that comes through here. Just recapping, looks like Bling Twin had a statue inspect. Was there a fingerprint on the statue? No. Oh, yes, there was. Okay, so fingerprint on the statue as well as the statue inspect. So lots of threat coming through from that AI. Oh, and then immediately into the finger pronto.
Inspect, yeah. I guess.
Huge.
Yeah, hard not to shoot for that, I guess.
Yeah, that just comes down. That's where, as a sniper, the only way you can really improve on this game is if you're tracking flirt harder. In this case, you can tell that if you're going through with a fine-tooth comb, Bling Twin only has one flirt with any character. He does not have anything more than that. But I mean, if you're not tracking for it that closely, it's going to be very tough not to shoot Bling Twin in this case.
Right. So Nanthelas is saying that he paired Bling Twin with Seek. I'm trying to work out where a second, or at least a first, flirt could have happened. Looks like. Yeah, it looks like
that was his first conversation with him.
First talk animation. Yeah, so that's right. If you track flirt, potentially maybe you allow this game to go for a little bit longer, and then Nanthelas maybe messes up. But wow, big win for Nanthelas. Like you mentioned, Toboshi, the great equalizer pub any 3 of 5 is turning out to be. And now moving on to Library here, this is going to be a really interesting map to see if Lazybear can potentially bring us back to even at the almost halfway point.
We shall see. He is riding a win from the last game. Now he's on the sniper side with Nanthelas on the spy side of Library. Back to the big maps in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Oh my god, okay. Woo!
I'm a confused boy.
That was just an SDA low light, but
that was awesome.
That was the Monkaress moment. Insta low light.
It really was. Oh man, starting things off with a neutral light and a flirt for 34%.
Not too often you see that happen. Thankfully, the correction comes.
Oh man. If it was Veery, he would have left it there on principle.
Absolutely. And now we've got a situation where we're playing it pretty slow again, but I don't think we'll do statues again. After we won with early statues, I doubt we try to get that early statue highlight again. Nanthelas does like to mix it up.
Well, we have a bug set up, but decides not to take it. Just steps around into the next flirt, but the seduction target, it's not having it.
We need a ST counter. I think this is at like 6 now. ST has been so cool. And all these lowlights coming off. I think Lazybear suspected a no talk in the left conversation. But I don't know. That's very, and we get highlight. I do believe this is like a no talk read, but it's not correct. I don't know. I'm gonna have to go back to the replay.
No, I think this is for activity. Nanthelas is being super active and moving around the party, and everyone who's low lit at the beginning of the party kind of just entered a conversation and did nothing. Everyone high lit moved around the conversations and did stuff.
That is a crazy big read though to make, because
green timeout at the back windows there. Picking up a briefcase to grab a fingerprint as well to make back some of that time he lost through all of that movement, but still, even with that, a little bit behind the clock. It's only 2 minutes and 40 left to play. Whoa, red tests the flirt. This is just not going Nanthelas' way.
Yeah, and now with all these lowlights, I feel like the game is like already lost. We don't have a hardtail. It's down to 8 people. I feel like this is...
Oh my god! Okay, well... Lazybear's feeling it all of a sudden. Good god.
So I would love to hear from Lazybear, unless he doesn't want to share strats. But I mean, Nanthelas kind of talked about earlier in chat that that Lazybear called him out for being very active early, and it just feels like if that's the case, then this has to be behavioral, lowlights coming through. The classic let's lowlight a third of the party at the beginning of the game for non-activity.
Yeah.
But wow.
I would take a look at 306. There's a point here where Prince, the Duke, stops talking. Wheels takes a drink and bails because it was his turn to talk. And then immediately all the characters in that conversation get highlight. And then lowlights everybody else. I don't know.
But then there's also highlights for people outside of the conversation. So
right, because he saw a no talk. I don't know. I think this is a no talk, but that he misread. But I don't know. Maybe if this is lowlights on all these members, that is a crazy read. well done to Lazybear if that's accurate.
It looks like Lazybear's going to be honest. But yeah, wow, that's a huge sniper victory for Lazybear. Didn't even allow Nanthelas any room on Library to do anything. And then obviously the failed bug attempt coming through here. Such a hard reverse drive-by to make. Almost never succeeds. Only happens when the ambassador enters this conversation or goes to the back window pad. And as you can see here, straight on Lazybear's screen as well. But yeah, it does seem like it potentially was that no talk that you talked about, Yeesh. Phantomed. I've shot enough spies for it, so congratulations, Lazybear. You did well.
It was accurate, so well done.
Yeah, absolutely.
I ended up being correct. And I mean, now I want the tech from Bitbandypig and Lazybear now. So
right.
Two challenger players with like these crazy shots.
That's right.
Crazy lowlights coming out.
And so
now
the interesting thing is, if you're Nanthelas and you've just been shot for the bug, you're like, all right, the bug happens, and you get onto the results screen and see the ridiculous amount of lowlights. Holy moly, what kind of mind games start playing through your head here? It's like, have I just been figured out? Has my entire spy game just been dissected in 2 spy games? I don't know. That would like drive me insane as I'm sniping on Library here.
Yeah, the game was lost basically a minute and a half in when he got all those lowlights. The game was basically over at that point.
And
that's
now,
crazy.
After going down 3-0, Lazybear takes the next 2 and is poised to tie the set up on the spy side of Library. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And the low light again.
Oh my god.
Oh my god!
And it's not being changed.
This one stuck. No, it didn't. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Calm down.
Oh my! How does that happen 2 games in a row? That is crazy.
The world may never know.
Checker installed magnetism on Library.
I should just shoot the first
It's
person.
Clearly hacks. By the way, animation microfilm completely off camera. Nanthelas just looking at the other side and never swung around.
A lot of action on the right side, Toby and Amba. I feel like that's one of the main things some challenger players haven't been exploiting very much. So I really like this by Lazybear. A lot of players just say, "Oh, it's luck if I do a microphone here," but honestly, reading where Amba and Toby are, I would say is probably one of the biggest things to getting missions done. If you have a good read of where the sniper is looking, you can just get away with missions.
This isn't just for Library, by the way. That works for a lot of different maps.
Yeah, it's like, especially on Veranda, we saw this a little bit with Nanthelas in the first game. We saw that Amba and Toby were on the far left side and decided to microfilm and then ended up inspecting and swapping, getting away with it. But that strategy, as Tobo said, applies everywhere. So,
well, blue film in pocket and not a whole lot else early on, but the seduction target decides to be kind and gives us a free close flirt, which we white test for 34%. And now we're on the yellow side of the map, so we can do some statue business if we want to. We can finish up the microfilm. We've got a lot of options, but Lazybear is just stepping out the other way.
Spy 1 ST7 with all these bills.
You're not wrong. Lazybear tucking into the back window. Doesn't do anything while he's there. Why is the briefcase inside the wall?
This is SpyParty.
Fair enough.
We did have fingerprint opportunities.
For a pair of inspects, takes a highlight for his troubles, and only actually gets the 1 statue done.
Blink Twin reaching inside the wall, I call hacks.
That's the 3rd time Lazybear's been to this pad, this time for a pair of time ads, a green and a white. Knew he was very behind on the clock and had to make something up, and that's one way to do it for sure.
Yeah, and the sniper did hear the beep. It was at 2 minutes. The green timeout had already been set, so he heard the slow beep, but no lowlights coming out really. So unfortunately, Nanthelas is just going to be behind another minute and a half.
Contact comes off, lets off 3 lowlights, which is not bad at all.
Nanthelas is peeking around to check who's rejecting, so he's definitely suspicious of this Purloin. Lazybear makes the read that he is paying attention, does decide not to go for it. Being highlight will make it difficult to get this last microfilm, but we have a lot of time to play with, so maybe we can make something happen.
Chases the selection target all the way back into blue bookcase, which is not necessarily a place you want to be. Another white test on the flirt to 68%. And 1:35 left to play. Somehow, even with those 2 time ads, behind on the clock.
I felt like we were being watched as Lazybear. You can just see Nanthelas' laser just quickly flicking over towards us. So Nanthelas was definitely watching it, but definitely saw no microfilm. Maybe we get some lowered suspicion after that.
That's the second time we've been to that bookcase, though, so pair of inspects at the statues here to finish that off. 1:05 left to play, only the 2 completions, but we do have blue microfilm in pocket and 2/3 of a flirt.
Running out of time to do prints. Even though the ambassador did just take a drink, we're just running too low on time to make anything happen. We are in the position to bug. And we do get this flirt. We're so close to having so many missions done.
Very distant flirt, though, only up to 85%. I believe that was the worst possible flirt in the entire game at 17%. And I just don't see us finishing missions at this point. 2 time ads in, and now we're down to 30 seconds with only 2 completions. Another time ad has to come off. The beep beeps were underway when it happened, and now stepping into the yellow bookcase.
Lowlights coming off now. That was a good, 8 lowlights, so that's a pretty big comeback there from Nanthelas. Lazybear is still running low on time, but now maybe Nanthelas from the pressure.
All he needs to do is find a way to make this microfilm take and then get the last flirt, and that's it. Or hit the last flirt first and then let the microfilm take at the end.
We have 30 seconds again. You know Nanthelas has to be feeling the pressure after he just missed a timeout after the beeps. You know you have to be feeling it here.
The shot comes off! And it's not the correct one! And Lazybear manages to time ad his way to victory and tie the set up at 3.
Tough there not to take a shot. When you have 2 time ads, you know
3
one is
time
green.
ads.
Yeah, and then the last one at the end, the third, when the beeps are happening, and Nanthelas unfortunately just missed it. It was on camera. The bail was very visible, but not noticing it. Nanthelas just felt under pressure with that center statue. Felt like that was a finish.
Yeah, and Walt was also one of the only other people who was at a window pad when the 3rd time ad came off. Was reading, but sometimes hard to remember that. And then returns a book, and if you don't remember where that book came from, that's the moment actually that Walt got highlight was when he entered the bookshelf. So if you don't remember where that book came from, you saw him at window pads, maybe you go, this is a microfilm transfer, and that's a middle statues set of inspects in the last moments here. It's a really justified shot from Nanthelas. You can totally see what an extra, 2 minutes and 15 seconds does to a sniper's head on a map that already has 4 minutes to play. It messes with you so hard. And wow, we are tied up heading into Courtyard. Can you believe it? After 3-0 on the board, Lazybear has won all 3 since then. Both these guys are so hot right now, and both of them are not willing to go down without a fight. But one of them does have to lose this series, and you have to imagine with a huge momentum swing to Lazybear, it bodes well heading into the Courtyard here.
Yeah, both players showing a lot of class. It's now 3-3 as Nanthelas steps into the spy side of Courtyard, looking to get back on the horse. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Back to early statues. We won with this on Veranda.
Just straight swaps it. Did it get memorized?
That really does take guts.
Why did Taft get low lit?
I have no idea.
Probably a behavioral thing. Not my problem. But, like, the swap has come off, the inspects have come off, and I don't think Lazybear was able to memorize quickly enough. Either that or he's second-guessing himself.
That's true. We're playing a game where do we die for contact? How suspicious is Lazybear? And it usually tilts one way or the other. You just have to make the read of would Nanthelas really just go for this early swap right like this? The answer right now is yes, but will Lazybear make that decision?
You have to at least credit to the swap if you didn't memorize in time. Does Nanthelas get shot for the contact? That is the question. If he can survive that, he's won the game. 51% on the first flirt as well. It certainly doesn't hurt.
Another option that might be viable, maybe a little bit underrated, is Fingerprint and go for a silent game, but it seems unlikely. Definitely the more popular option would be to just banana bread here.
Certainly would be. Especially with only 1:20 left on the clock. You don't want to complicate things too much. Fake contact!
Banana bread.
Just the one low light, but goes all in on it being real. Whole bunch of lowlights come out on a fairly full conversation with no suspected double agent in it. There's the flirt being finished up. 1 minute to play.
Unfortunately, we did not get on that low light train for the fake BB.
This is very true and very unfortunate. 45 seconds. The shot comes off! I think Lazybear was a little bit too worried about the swap. And Nanthelas still not able to find a game. Won the first 3, lost the next 4.
You have to assume that that's... oh wow, he even zooms in on the statue that Nanthelas was holding. So 100% knew that was a bird. And the next time he sees it, it's the Venus, beautiful Venus statue. So I'm assuming that's very much a case of allowing Nanthelas to sit in his pile of goop and soak it all in, and then shoot him for nothing incriminating. Wow, that's a huge sniper win, and potentially even a tilting one if you're Nanthelas to have spent so long thinking potentially you got away with that swap.
Yeah,
Frustrating at
Lazybear
times.
just making absolutely sure he didn't phantom a swap. Now stepping in to...
Oh, before we do, I think if you are worried that you phantomed a swap, then this is the most incriminating moment for Nanthelas. When he, after the fake contact, steps into the most tight spot, really, in the conversation that you can step into, just squeezes his way between Irish and Till, clipping them both, is a big fat highlight between two lowlights. Talks very quickly and then stop talks, and right on Lazybear's screen. I assume that was seen. And so at this point, you've potentially flared, started pairing General with certain characters. Irish is the ST, as we know. And you've just seen him enter the conversation in a very ugly position, start talk, stop talk in a very quick fashion. And so that was that's the point where I think Nanthelas 100% lost the game if the swap was believed to be phantomed. So wow, that's a huge amount of respect shown by Lazybear to wait that game out and confirm the swap did indeed take place. And now, for the first time this series, as I get my scores mixed up, Lazybear takes the lead 4-3, down to 3-0 heading into Library, and now 4-3. Pretty insane to be at this position. Is spying, though, a chance for Nanthelas to bring us back to even before we head to Ballroom. Let's see what happens.
In 3, 2, 1, playing it. Not a fast start from Lazybear. In a very full conversation, but not one with anything interesting going on. So he steps away pretty quickly. Not able to pick up the early flirt either, as section target was just getting ready to step out from the window. Has to chase back into the conversation once more. So a very active start with not a lot done, and the seduction target cancels our flirt for us by leaving the conversation like a jerk.
Spy 1, AI 8.
Banana bread.
Fake contact comes off in conversation with the double agent. Chalk one more for the AI.
We keep on going at this rate. We'll have to call mercy rule. Spy automatically wins.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, the AI wins the set and will be moving on to face Dowsey.
Next thing we know, the spy's going to bug.
That said,
But now
we do
ST is being so cruel. He's going back to the statues. It's like, could it get any worse?
I mean, we at least have our inspects done, but we're highlight for it. We're at 1 minute and 30 seconds, and we have absolutely no other progress. Now, with 1 minute and 20 to play, we pick up a white flirt for 34%.
We're going to have to do a hard tell. Probably purling is the call, because it's definitely the mission you need to press if you feel behind. But we're going to need to get some quick mission progress. Otherwise, we're going to be in an awful position.
1 minute to play. This is about as bad as it gets. The bug comes through. That has to have taken cleanly, and it most certainly didn't. As Nanthelas is able to curb some of Lazybear's momentum with a little bit of help from the AI and tie things up 4-4.
In that position, you have to take a risk. You're so far behind, so I don't mind this risk at all. Purloin, I think, also could have been decent because the ambassador is in a position where Nanthelas was forced to watch Seek very closely. So I think Purloin could have been good, but I don't mind this option for bug. The ambassador was in a good place to do it.
It was a pretty good bug, too. It just came in a little bit too close, and the hand clipped through on the way past. I think if not for that little detail, it would have been completely unseen. Either way, we are stepping into the ballroom for what might be the final map if one of these two players can sweep it. Otherwise, you fine folks will get to see some extra time. In
And
3,
then,
2,
one moment.
1. Okay.
My game is not loaded in.
Oh,
My computer is slow.
fair enough.
It's the rug.
It is the rug. Blame the rug. The best and the worst part of this map. All right, I'm ready now.
All right, let's get this thing underway. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And if you're Nanthelas, man, you're feeling the heat right now. This spy win is so huge because spy wins really do happen quite often on this map. You're really going to need to pull out something here.
If you can find this spy win as Nanthelas, you are playing for a win on your sniper game. If you can't, you're just playing to stay alive.
Playing to stay alive never is good. You hate the feeling. Sometimes it helps some players calm their nerves just being in the clutch moments. But me personally, I'd rather have the win lock, have at least a draw secured before facing my final match as a sniper on ballroom. Nonetheless.
First flirt comes off with a close green test to bring us up to 51%. We're in a big full conversation, but the double agent is away without leave.
There are a ton of options this game. There are like 2 statues with prints on them. We can just sit here and wait for this timer flirts. Looks like we did do a decent briefcase direct there, so not bad.
Yeah, pretty solid briefcase cancel. 2 minutes and 10 left to play.
I would say this is probably one of the most obvious examples of aggressive idling. You were just standing alone with an SDA, just chatting it up from max range in a pretty obvious spot to be noticed. So if anyone's going to get credited with not doing much, it'll be Nanthelas here.
That was a very possible bug path, but decided not to take it. Probably wise, as it would have been a little bit exposed. White test on the next flirt brings us up to 84%. One more flirt will finish it up.
Now with 1 minute 30 left, what mission are we going to do? I think microfilm could be very good here, but I don't know what Nanthelas thinks.
Well, we're gonna have to do something, and we're gonna have to do it fast, as the timer is ticking down quickly. Minute and 20 left on the clock. Goes to Windows for a possible time ad. Time ad it will be. It's a white test, and brings it back up to just under 2 minutes, so no beep.
Good time to do it too.
And the shot comes off! What?
Wow, that was a shot onto plane twin there. Wasn't time ad related, I don't believe, due to the fact that plane twin was indeed in a conversation as it came off. Plane twin had a green book at the start of the game, which he carried around for a little bit. Looks like he does potentially a bug path at maybe 218, but it is with book in hand, so it would have been a difficult bug to pull off. You would have had to wrong arm it. Returns the book.
Lazybear in the chat says it was a mismarked book.
Oh my goodness! Wow. So look at this. Yeah, reading chat here. Sorry, not chat. Reading the sniper log. You can see at 1:30. Switches the book from blue to green to blue. And why does that happen? When does it happen? Does it happen at the bookshelf?
It does happen at the bookshelf.
Yeah, that's strange.
Unsure about it, I guess.
I don't know if that was
takes the bullet.
Oh, you know what? Potentially it could have been a case that you're tagging the book as if it's the first time it's been taken out, and you you double tap it to bring it to blue. That's really shame. That's a really unfortunate way to lose. You tag it as blue and then see that it's blue afterwards and shoot for a microfilm transfer. Really, really unfortunate.
It is unfortunate. Sadly, no BB. So would have potentially liked to see that before taking the shot, but maybe just nerves got to him. I mean, this is a huge match, and if you think Nanthelas is done on this last mission here, you need to shoot at this moment. So Lazybear just takes it. Unfortunately, not the correct shot, and now Nanthelas playing to win as on the spy side of Ballroom, which is, in my opinion, probably one of the easier maps in order to pull this off on.
Nanthelas has a chance to finish this set right here and now against a very scary opponent. Lazybear on the spy side, Nan on the sniper. In 3, 2, 1, playing it. And Lazybear opens the game at center statues.
Wow, that's a crazy start. I guess maybe the AI just kind of dumped him there. 10 for the AI. But maybe we wanted this anyways. I don't think Nanthelas would expect you in your final game. You probably want to play a more calm spy. Going for the immediate center statues is incredibly aggressive.
This is a pretty good situation to be in, able to pick up the green test on the flirt, and was in a good position for a possible reverse drive-by bug, but the ambassador does not cooperate. We didn't have a lot of cover either, so it probably wouldn't have been taken either way, but lots of progress to start things off, although that early highlight is never fun.
No, it is not, but Lazybear is queen with a great walking bug potential. I think we could sidle up right next to this general here and be in a great position to flirt, and for the reverse bug, I think this could be very strong. If we do it, This
That's
is a really good
exactly
position
what
to do it.
happens.
I mean, if
Chance
the
for a
Amba
two flirt here as
combines,
well.
yeah, if the Amba comes by, this is probably a free mission.
Banana bread.
No! Contact instead! The fake contact getting caught by action priorities, probably, because that looked like the perfect timing for the reverse drive-by bug. Here's the second attempt at it. This time it comes off. 85% on the flirt as well. That might have worked out, but no! Nanthelas is on it and books himself a match in the round of 8 against Dowsey.
Wow, that is such an honestly, the AI just this game just tore apart our competitors tonight. He wanted that reverse bug. He definitely did. He was not intending a fake BB there. He definitely wanted that reverse bug. Probably just started it a second too early and started the BB instead of bug. And then gets it on the second way around, but Nanthelas had a much better angle to catch the second one and just thought he could have been done. Bug, seduce, inspect, contact for the win. So felt like he had to shoot there.
My God, what a finish and a fitting end to Lazybear's incredible run. But Nanthelas is still on a huge tear. And that game versus Dowsey in the round of 8 is going to be a barn burner, let me tell you.
The unstoppable wall versus the what is it? The immovable wall versus the unstoppable force. We'll have to see what happens, but both players, I mean, they're on a hot streak. Sad that Lazybear had to go out like this, but I mean, it was a great fight. Just trading blows back and forth through this whole match.
Yeah, absolutely. Huge matchup between these two, and like you mentioned, Nanthelas does take the victory. Really unfortunate way to end your Summer Cup from Lazybear. We've seen some heartbreak so far in the round of 16. A mismarked book to book a wrong shot. And yesterday, if you guys haven't watched the Catnip Pofke series, I urge you to watch it. The last game, the last shot, heartbreaking. And I guess that's what happens in the Summer Cup, is that you get to the single limb and things like this just happen. So let's have a look at the bracket. Let's see where we stand. Like mentioned earlier, Pofke did beat Catnip, and with Bit Bandy Pig finding the win over Belial. They will be playing in the round of 8, the quarterfinals here for the Summer Cup 2018. Nanthelas' victory over Lazybear books him a spot in the quarterfinals with myself, yours truly. So Nanthelas was on a 9-game winning streak, a 9-match winning streak. 10-match winning streak. Can I do maths? Let's see. Let's do an attempt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Plus 3 is 8. Plus finals is 9. Plus this game is 10. There we go, 10. 10-game winning streak. What am I on? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oof. Okay, so it's a 10-game match winning streak versus 11-game undefeated streak, which is obviously going to be a fantastic quarterfinal. Whoever wins that, truly deserving to go towards the semifinals and even potentially the finals. And we still have more to come. We see Yeesh sitting up there all alone. He needs an opponent. Turnip Boy versus JY will be one of our matches